Restaurant Unstoppable, episode 695 with Megan and Dino Santonicola. All right, with excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guest, Megan and Dino Santonicola. How are you doing today? You guys feeling unstoppable?
Always.
Yeah, give me something, Dino.
We are.
Yes.
I can't stop right now. Still moving.
I'm excited for today's conversation. You guys have a great story, and I cannot wait to unpackage it. So Megan and Dino Santonicola are the owners of Partenope. Say this for me one more time.
Partenope
Ristorante, located in Dallas, Texas. They are the dynamic duo with Dino, a master of pizza, and Megan with her 20 years of experience in the Dallas restaurant and hospitality industry. In 2011, Dino became the executive chef and master pizzaiolo. Did I say it right? And say this name for me one more time. Cane Rosso in Dallas. During his 7 years with Cane Rosso, Dino grew the concept and brand from one location to Deep Ellum to 9 locations, from Dallas to Houston to Austin. And Megan and Dino met while working at Cane Rosso, where Megan developed and guided the growth of the operation of Cane Rosso. She has been involved in the Dallas restaurant and hospitality industry since 1999 with concepts such as the Green Room, Dragonfly, and Hibiscus. She was also the food and beverage director at Hotel Palomar. Thank you. I'm struggling today. And the Essential 214 for 4 years. So I cannot wait to dive into the story. But let's get that motivational, inspirational ball rolling with a success quote or mantra. What do you got for us?
I got Ray Kroc, founder of McDonald's.
Ooh.
You said, nothing in the world can replace persistence.
Nothing in the world can replace persistence. Why does that resonate with you?
Because when you're really persistent, you believe it, you insist, you push it, no matter what, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how long it takes, how hard it's going to be, you're going to get there.
It's that ability just to keep on showing up, which I think is just so important in this industry, because really it's just a matter of outworking the guy next to you or the girl next to you, right? Yeah. Awesome. Do you want to reflect on that, Megan?
And persistence is free. It doesn't take education for persistence, right?
Yeah.
So you don't, the rocket scientist, you don't have to be for persistence. Anybody can be persistent.
Exactly.
You can translate that to your staff too.
And with persistence, you can get your own education through trial and error.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. You live and learn a lot with persistence.
I like it. So where does it make sense to start telling your story? And before you dive in, I'm going to fix your mic because I think it might be dropping on you. I apologize if it is. I'm going to tighten it. We can always edit this out. Or you can just laugh at me back. All right. So where does it make sense to start telling the story? Who wants to go first?
Dino.
All right.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Italy.
I grew up in Italy. Yes,
Yep.
I was in Naples.
Okay.
Exactly, to be exact. When I grew up, a few years ago, I'm 44 right now. So, well, there was not a lot of choices. Like our vision of work, get a job, it wasn't really optimistic back there.
Okay.
So my mom was trying to keep me on the right direction. So after school, she pushed me towards this a local pizzeria for our neighborhood.
Okay.
She said so she thought about it so he doesn't get in trouble.
Smart.
So and push here, push there, today
Yeah.
and tomorrow they became something and I started like do it.
Okay.
And instead of going in bad directions, I got the work direction.
Okay. I like that. So any key mentors in the early days when you were a young kid getting put in these kitchens? Anybody who really sticks out to you, who really influenced who you are today, that comes to mind?
There were 2 cousins.
Okay.
They owned this local pizzeria.
Okay.
I remember that, you got to think about it then. I think the way our mentor was seen back then, so different than people could see a mentor today. Because I really liked those guys, but they were really mean.
Okay. I want to make sure I understand. So you're saying that the way we see mentors back then are different than the way we see mentors today?
Yes, the way I saw.
Okay.
For instance, I grew up with the fear on if you lose this job, you're not going to find another one. There was really the fear of all the friends of mine, people that my age, because there was no easy. So when you get a job, you keep it, no matter what they do, So, for instance, the way they trained me was the way they knew it because their father trained them.
Okay.
Right? So, like, this was pizzeria really busy. And, for instance, Saturday night, after the long shift, at midnight, we were making dough for the next 2 days.
And
right?
you're 13 when this is going on.
I was 13.
Wow.
Yes. And so we were prepping the dough in the basement. At midnight, we started. The guy brought me down the basement. We had this huge table. It was a big, beautiful place. It was historic. It was a long, thick marble, old, really old table where they made all the pastry, everything. And we had those probably 700-800 pizza dough all in a mountain. You have to just portion it all of it, cut it. So we got down to he showed me how to do it back then. You cut it, you start rolling it, you put it in the trays. All right. Then he started to walk up and locks the door. I said, what's going on? I said, Chiro, what's up? He said, you got to do the door. I said, yeah, but you locked the living. What about if I got to go in the bathroom? He said,
what if there's a fire?
He said, you become fast.
You can't lock people in the basement nowadays.
No, it's not allowed. Yeah.
And I'm pretty fast.
Yeah.
So there were moments when, I got home, I was upset, I was tired, and I told my mom, Mama, look what he did to me. She said, you should be glad he's teaching you a job. Right? That was my mom mentality. A skill, something you could use it. And back then, I needed to learn something, right? Besides the school, and I liked it too because they became my second family. They liked me. They just they trained me the way they knew it.
Yeah.
I'm sure his father was even worse than how he was.
So what's the underlying lesson here? I mean, I know it's not don't lock your employees in basements. That's not
definitely
the lesson.
not.
But try to see the good of everything
Yeah.
people do it.
Yeah.
There's definitely a good side.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Obviously, like one of my favorite guys, it's passed away, Steve Jobs, said, you connected dots looking back. Right? Now I'm looking back and say, see, the way he did it, I'm actually really fast at making dough now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. I learned it well.
Yeah.
Back then, I couldn't really see it. Right? You can't see the future, but you can see the past.
Yeah. They helped you become a person of value.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. And honestly, they learned me that the first lesson you'll learn, this kind of industry, it's not easy.
Yeah. So how long did you spend working from 13 to how long or how old were you before you came stateside? And I know you went to the Italian Culinary Institute.
Yes. Well, I moved in the States when I was 29.
Okay.
I didn't want to come in the States, to be honest with you. But there was this guy. It's a very interesting story. This guy met with a friend of mine in a cab.
Yeah.
Now, he's an American. A friend of mine is a Neapolitan guy. One doesn't speak English, the other doesn't speak Italian. But somehow they got to communicate. And he said, the American dude says to this friend of mine, I need to open a pizzeria like in Naples because I really like it. The food, it's great. But I'm based in Seattle. I don't know how to do it. That's not my business. And, you need to help me. Somehow, they bought all the equipment, and he got in touch with me. Now, the American guy got in touch with me. I didn't speak any English either, but for some reason, we actually kind of understand each other.
Yeah.
So he said, he had a big company back then. He was in a coffee business. So he got me a work visa. He brought me in the States, and he started showing me what to do. We started to build the restaurant, the business. We don't speak really no English.
And this
no
is
Italian.
Jay you're talking about.
No,
no?
this is the first approach was in Seattle.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
No, his name is Michael. This guy now doesn't have the business anymore, but he had we opened this pizzeria called Via Tribunali in Seattle.
Okay.
From one location, we grew to 5. And, it started like a joke for me. So, okay, I'm going to go in America visiting. But then became what I really liked it. It grew on me. I liked it. I saw, what I see, in Italy, you really learn the passion to love the restaurant. In America, you learn how to run it successfully.
Oh, so, I'm so happy you're saying this because honestly, I think that the focus has become too much on running a successful restaurant that we've lost sight and we've detached ourselves from being a part of a restaurant.
Yeah.
There's so much emphasis on scaling and growth, but in order to scale and grow, you got to work on the business, not in the business. But what's wrong with working in a business? What's wrong with loving the work? What's wrong with making just enough to get by? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like the American culture just doesn't put enough appreciation on the work. You know what I'm saying? Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. What I think it's that I don't know why, but some, let's say, wealthy people, they never worked in a restaurant. They think you become a millionaire opening a restaurant. I swear they all have, especially, the big investment guys. I don't understand. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of work. And you might, the profit, the margin, it's really slim. No, you might make some money. It's gonna take a very long time.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't see that side of the restaurant. So you really have to love it.
Yep.
You have to love it. You have to be into it.
Yes.
You gotta do it every day. Not for the money or because, I might one day become rich, because it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right? But you see, I really like it. I'm so glad when people smile at me and said, "Hey, chef, you made my day with this dish."
I love that, man. Thank you for getting into that. So what ended up, so are you saying that maybe that first experience when you came to Seattle, they were more interested in the money side of the business?
No, they were interested in both. But for me, I didn't really know the business side, because in Italy, a restaurant, a family own a restaurant, it's the mom. There is only relatives that's employed.
Yeah, it's
right?
part of the community.
And it's passed down.
Right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
a funny episode, when my family come here to visit, right, and they came in a restaurant where we were working. Who is that guy? Who's that guy? They asked. My family were curious. They want to know everything. And that's the general manager. You need a manager? So what do you mean a manager? Why you here then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For them, it's your restaurant. You stay in.
Yeah.
Why you need somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I get it. So I think we can put this on pause right now. Maybe give some mic time to Megan. Megan, dive into your first experiences within the restaurant industry. How'd you break in?
I went to college at University of Missouri, and I needed a job. And my sister had gone to the same school previously and worked at a restaurant in Columbia, Missouri, where the university is. And so I said, I want to work there. And they're like, of course we'll hire you. We love your sister. We have a job for you as a dishwasher / busser. I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And obviously I loved it. I didn't like the dishwashing part so much, but and then I worked my way up. I was going to school to be for political science, because I wanted to be a lobbyist.
Okay.
My mom was a teacher. My dad had been a teacher. I'm like, I'm in it for the teachers. I took a couple of political science classes. I'm like, this is boring. And I started hanging out with the hotel restaurant management kids. I'm like, they're having a blast. They're having so much fun. I'm gonna do hotel restaurant management.
I think that's what draws me to this industry so much, is honestly how much fun people that work in this industry like to have, and how real they are. So I don't blame you.
They were enjoying their classes.
Yeah.
I was like, you like your class? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Clearly you have the school thing all around.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't what it's about, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to get my bachelor's in hotel restaurant management from the University of Missouri. And then after I graduated, I stuck around for a while. I worked at the same restaurant for 5 years. I loved it. That was my whole inspiration. It was a man and woman that owned it. And I was truly inspired by both of them. He was tough as nails, and she exuded hospitality. She's the whole reason I did what I did. I'm like, wow, there's this single woman busting her butt every day. She is exuding hospitality, but she doesn't take shit from anybody. And she drinks Budweiser at the end of her shift.
Nice.
I love her.
Nice. So what are these two? Were they a married couple or single?
No.
As partners?
He was married, and they were just business partners.
Business partners.
Yeah,
okay.
they've been restaurant business together for a while.
What were their names?
Bob and Kelly.
Bob and Kelly. What was the name of their restaurant?
It was called Cornerstone Cafe.
Cornerstone Cafe.
It was a little bit of ahead of its time. Focused on having, we had local artists that had their artwork in there. We had a great guy named Leighton that used to come in and play the piano on the weekends. Nice. He was very jazzy,
Nice.
The awkward eye contact sometimes. But it was a great place. I learned so much there. And I decided this is going to be my job.
Okay.
I'm going to do this for the rest of my career, because if Kelly can do it, I can do it.
Give me some nuggets that they taught you, not necessarily, or it could be about the restaurant industry, like a lesson about the industry, but more about who to be in this industry to make it. What it
Knowledge. Knowledge is power. If you don't know the wine list, you can't sell it. If you don't know what's in the cocktails, you can't sell it. If you don't know what's in the food, you can't sell it.
Yeah.
And to sell it, you have to try it. You have to eat it. If you might not like black beans or whatever, but if it's in the you need to try the dish, right?
Yeah.
So knowledge, that's what I learned from them, and then organization, and there's a step for every process. There's a step to everything, and you have to follow those steps. Don't skip steps, or you're taking shortcuts, and then shortcuts have negative consequences.
Well, the cool thing about knowledge too, which is kind of like a byproduct of being knowledgeable, is that you can create experiences with knowledge. Yep. Because when your guests come in and they're not familiar with the food, when you can educate them on that food, they're going to tie that new piece of knowledge with your restaurant. And I think we undervalue the educational process in the dining experience, because that learning new things is exciting. And it makes the experience. You were shaking your head, Dino, while I was saying that. Any thoughts?
Because I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's especially in the we are in the Neapolitan pizza business, which for some reason it's the most market pizza as a marketing wise. But then the real Neapolitan pizza, it's probably one of the most hated too by people because of the softness, right? But I discovered in education and knowledge, if you explain to people, educate them, share what you're doing with them before they order the pizza. When they actually get it, they agree with you.
Yeah.
They try it, they like it. The thing is, if you're not going to tell them anything, just to bring, I'm going to have a 2 pizza, cheese pizza, you bring it, and they have a different idea in their mind of what the pizza should have looked like, then it's a disaster.
We have unconscious biases of what we think good pizza is supposed to be.
Everyone grew up with what they thought their favorite pizza is.
Exactly.
They all have in their mind, like what I grew up with, my favorite pizza has a mini cult following in college America,
Exactly.
Shakespeare's Pizza.
Yeah.
I don't like Shakespeare's Pizza anymore, but I used to love. My parents used to ship it to us on dry ice, half baked, so that we could finish it. And now I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, it's why in the early 20th century, like pizza, like morphed so much across the country because each geographic had its own staple of what the right pizza was, and it just got these like little like pizza pockets all over the place. Did not mean to.
No, you're fine.
do
No,
that pun
but
there,
everybody has their own vision of what their pizza is or what it should be.
Exactly, but and when you explain to them the history behind the why you do it that way, I mean that whole educational process becomes part of the experience.
It's
It's
really
absolutely
essential to customer for a good experience. It can't just a blind side.
Awesome, beautiful. So back to Megan. You after Missouri, how long did it take you to come down to Texas?
I was in Colombia for 5 years, and then I came here. So I've been here since '99. I was only going to stay for 3 or 4 years. Here I am.
Whoops.
Yeah. I liked it. My sister was here.
Nice.
Now my parents have moved down here.
Yeah.
They gave up of either of
to
us
get you
ever
guys
going
back.
home, right? Yeah, they're like, oh, well.
So much
Guess we'll move to
cheaper in
Texas.
Missouri, though.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, I came here, and I stayed.
Okay. So did you get right back into the restaurant industry?
I did. I worked for this awesome little seafood and chowder house in Dallas. It was my first job as a GM.
Okay.
Which I totally shouldn't have had. I was young. I was 23. I shouldn't have been a GM of anything. But I met some of the best people in the restaurant business there that I'm still friends with. Great relationships to that one little bitty place.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And then I took a little break for a while and went and bartended.
Okay.
So
reflecting back at that time, you said you should not have been a GM.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, maybe at that time you didn't realize you weren't supposed to be a GM.
Oh, I was the smartest person I knew.
Yeah, but reflecting
at
back,
23,
reflecting back at that 23-year-old version of yourself, what were you missing?
I was missing the knowledge of separating work from friendship. Like, I believe that, this is our family, right? These guys are our family, but they're not our friends, if that makes sense. So I was friends. I was developed friendships with them. So that made managing them hard, right? With your friends with them, like, I feel bad that you need that day off, so I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to short the restaurant a staff member.
Yeah.
Even though I shouldn't, because I'm your friend.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
I think that's something that's common within people in this industry because we're so socially and emotionally we gravitate so much in that direction. We want everyone to like us. We don't want to make enemies. We want to keep everybody happy. We're natural people pleasers, right? Yep. So you got to develop that discipline to say, I want to say yes, but you need to understand I can't.
I learned to manage that like the mom.
Yeah.
Like your mom's not your best friend. She's your friend, right? Your mom has your back and is there for you if you need things. But she's also going to put her foot down and say, no, I can't do that for you. Or, hey, you're taking advantage, that sort of thing. So at that time, I didn't know that.
What other skills did you have to develop, or reflecting back at that time that you didn't quite have yet?
The behind the scenes stuff, right? Like I had learned how to cost a recipe and all that stuff in school, and I hadn't learned, good tactical inventory. I hadn't learned, how to control direct expenses. The things that you can actually control on a daily basis, how to really wrap my hands, wrap my head around labor.
Yeah.
That person gets paid, $13 an hour, but was I really translating that to the hours a week?
What advice would you give yourself around those topics that you just gave us if you were sitting across from yourself right now, like with the labor and all that other stuff?
To learn more, ask more questions. I didn't ask enough questions of the ownership, what his expectations were, and to teach myself a little bit more. Ask those questions, learn. I just assumed, well, everything's running. We're making money and, petty cash balances at the end of the night. And we're good.
Yeah. That's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned on the show is just don't be shy.
Yep.
If you have a question,
questions.
there's you might it might feel like you're stupid or whatever, but you're gonna get so much more admiration from your employers.
Yeah.
If they know that you're passionate, and when they see that you want to learn, they'll give you more responsibility.
Of course.
They love to see people that want to take on more. It makes their lives easier, right?
Yep.
Ask questions. I love it. So at this point, we're still in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Is this around the time that you're in Seattle?
2000, yes.
2000. So how long were you in Seattle?
5 years.
5 years. So you left in 2005, went back to Italy?
No, this is from 2004 to 2009.
2004 to 2009, and then you came to Dallas.
Correct.
Okay.
No, you went to
I
DC.
did 1 year in DC.
Oh, okay. Any experiences during this time from 2005 to 2009 that's worth hovering over and learning from?
Well, that's where I started learning how to run a business.
Okay.
Non-family wise.
So what were the biggest lessons you learned?
You have to control costs.
Okay. Do you want to get into detail on that?
Well, for me was when I worked in a pizzeria, it was just a whole big family.
Yeah, you said control costs. Did I hear that right? Okay, cool.
It was just a big family. You didn't really have to control anything, right? But then when I got here, we started having meetings. You imagine the guy can barely speak English.
Yeah.
Got to have a meeting. They show me a spreadsheet. But I was doing pretty well if I don't speak English.
Yeah.
And they tried to show me because I work with the people that he had a big company already. So, they knew what they were doing, right? So I was actually learning. That's what I loved it, right? I was learning that part. I was learning how to cost it, to maintain where we needed to be and why we needed to be that way. And so I learned the business side of the actual restaurant. Besides just cooking, and then you do everything great, but you're not gonna make it in the next 12 months.
Yeah,
because you didn't control any costs.
So you mentioned something that's really important. There is explaining why to your team. They would explain why to you. Why is explaining why so important?
So you don't think they're crazy.
Yeah. So what's the reason for this? Why are you telling me to do all this stuff? What was wrong with the way I was doing it before?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do with those guys here.
Yeah.
Explain them why we have to do that.
Yeah, and then the other byproduct of that is you're empowering them, you're educating them on, you're giving them the skills that they need to go on and do it themselves someday, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If they want to, I don't know if I would recommend it, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. I'm surprised I haven't been talked out of it either. So, what about key mentors during this time in the States? Any individuals that really stand out, that really influence who you are today?
There is a friend and a family member. I have a cousin that lives in New York.
Okay.
His name is Rosario Procino. He has a restaurant called Ribalta.
Say his first name for me one more time.
Rosario. Procino.
Okay. Both of those are his first name?
First and last name.
Oh, okay.
Rosario is his first name.
Mouthful.
Rosario, yeah. He has a restaurant called Ribalta.
Okay.
But he opened a Neapolitan pizzeria a long time ago called Queste.
Okay.
The first Neapolitan pizzeria in New York. Real Neapolitan. Then he sold the Queste and reopened Ribalta. He's always been successful. The interesting part with Rosario, then he's a restaurant owner right now, but Rosario is actually an engineer.
Okay.
With he has the top graduation scores in Italy, but he moved here. He was doing his job as a computer engineer.
Okay.
He hated it. He really did. He wanted to work for Accademia Barilla, so he got in the food business. He loved it, so he showed me his passion. We talk here and there, and I see the way he's successful. And it's like every Italian you talk to, he's almost more famous in Italy than New York. He's packed all the time, but 90% of his customers are from Italy.
Okay,
that's why it's really interesting. People come to New York to go to his restaurant.
I like
it's like a little Naples for real. And they watch sports. It's big and Naples.
It's
soccer.
Awesome. It's so
awesome.
high energy and vibrant, and the food is amazing.
You're making me want to go right now.
But the good part is that Rosario, can't really cook.
He's like the maitre d'. He's always the one. He's the ringleader.
But if you look at
creating the show,
Danny Meyer.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
Look at Danny Meyer, probably one of the most recognized names in hospitality. Yeah. I'm sure he can cook, but he's not known for it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like the most successful
He's surrounded
people.
himself with the right people.
Yeah. You know, the most successful people are socially, emotionally intelligent and recognize the strengths in others. So sorry, keep going.
And then there's another friend of mine. His name is Trevor. Then we worked in Seattle in the first pizzeria that I opened together. Me and him, the Via Tribunali. He was the maitre d' there. But now he has his own restaurant. He has a 304 in the Seattle area. He's a great guy, great wine knowledge. We became really good friends. Spent a lot of time together because the restaurants were in Seattle close late at night, like midnight. So we spent a lot of time.
What was his name, the second person?
Trevor.
So what did your cousin teach you? Did he teach you the value of relationships, the value of...
He showed me then, actually saw, because every time I go there, I can see it then. His place, it's like everybody place. They feel at home, comfortable. They come there just to hang out. It's you make people...
It's a home.
Yeah.
It's a home away from home.
You make people feel comfortable.
I love it.
So they come and spend time. I mean, a guy, if you think about it, guy that lives Italy, Naples, goes in vacation New York, because we all dream about New York.
Yeah.
You watch the movie, when we grew up, was the city, right? But he lives in Naples to go on vacation, right? And you go in it's a different country. You don't speak the language, and you go and eat Italian food, which you can eat every time when you're back home. They could eat where they're going to eat a Rosario every day when they go back.
Yeah.
And they just left it. But they go back there. They go on vacation in an Italian restaurant to spend time with an Italian guy.
Why do they do that?
Because they have a great time.
Yeah.
It makes them the experience of their vacation better. They have a memory. So they go back. I tag him. I see people tag him and post it. It's always great. We visit New York. It's pretty interesting if you think about it. They come here in Neapolitan. They are not going get I don't know, go try Santi America. You know what I mean? Yeah, they might go have a hamburger, but no, they want to go to the Italian restaurant. They want to drink espresso. They're really picky people, especially from Naples. They want to go on vacation, but they want to bring the whole food with them, the whole culture. They don't want to leave their comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why they look for the place where they can feel home, even when they are not home.
I love it. Any other lessons from your cousin before we try to pull something from Trevor?
Never give up.
Yeah.
He closed. He was an engineer. Opened one restaurant. It was very successful. Sold it. Opened another one. It's even more successful than the other one. So don't stop.
Yeah.
Persistent.
I love it. And what about Trevor? What was these lessons? You said Trevor, you identified him as another key mentor. What did he teach you?
Yes. Get your, surround yourself.
Surround yourself?
Surround yourself with the really good people that can help you.
Yeah.
That's what he does. All the people that he opened the first restaurant with, called Cantinetta, was all ex-employees. They actually partnership together.
Okay.
They put money together and opened this first place. He offered me too, but I was on my way out to Seattle. He wanted me to be part of it, so I had this opportunity to leave it for DC. I thought it was better. Then when we went back, before opening this restaurant, we go back later. Trevor actually offered again.
Okay.
Because he was open another place, but we choose to stay in Texas.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I like it. It's warmer down here. So
less rain.
Right? So we're getting closer to the time you guys cross paths. It was 2011 that you opened.
Yep.
I'm gonna say this wrong again. Say the name of the restaurant. My Italian ancestors are rolling in their graves right now. I swear to God. Cane
Rosso.
Cane Rosso. Thank you. So you opened in 2011, but were you on board from day one with Cane Rosso?
Cane Rosso opened actually Valentine's Day of 2011. I started July 5th, 2011.
Speaking
so right
of,
after.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you married couple, for coming together on Valentine's Day to do my
restaurant
podcast.
Tours together on a Valentine's Day.
Right? Beautiful. So, wait, were you guys not together?
No, we're not.
Why did I think that you were married?
Oh, we are
now.
married.
Oh, you are married.
Yeah,
Okay. Sorry,
we met at Cane Rosso shortly
that's
after.
That's what I thought.
I was there in July. Dino was in September, but Dino started. He was there to help open as a consultant.
I was super embarrassed for
No.
We got married later. At the moment when we met, we were
in
not.
2015 we got married.
Yeah, I got you. So when did you might have said it and I might have missed it because my heart dropped for a second. When did you come on board at
July
Rosso?
of 2011.
So you guys opened in 2011. So you were there pretty early on.
I
Very
came
early.
for the opening, for the actually day that we opened.
Okay.
I was consulting help. I met the owner Jay in a past. He said, "Can you come to help?" I said, "Sure." I came, and we opened the place.
Okay.
Then I left because I was living in DC at that time. He contacted me 3 months later, said, why don't you move it back? You know, I want to do more with this restaurant, I want to grow it, but he said, to be honest, I needed somebody that knows what he's doing. Because the guy he's not a restaurant guy.
We're talking about Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jay recruited you because he didn't know what he was doing.
Correct. He was not a restaurant guy.
And so why did you leave in the first place?
No, I came just to open.
Just to open. Okay.
I came, that was my idea, because I was working on this opening in DC that wasn't ready yet. And we were talking to Jay. He said, I'm going to open in February the 14th. Do you want to come for the opening?
Okay.
Yeah, I came here for a few days.
How did he find you?
Through the VPN, the Associazione Verace Pizza Napoletana.
Okay. So you basically went through that resource to find somebody to come
Yeah,
help
it's
him
already
open.
in a past with a different restaurant group than he had. He had this other restaurant group he was an investor to. They needed some help, so they contacted me.
Okay.
I came in Dallas way before the Cane Rosso.
Right. I got you.
We met.
So we're going to take our first break to thank our sponsors, and we'll be right back to kind of pick up where you guys cross paths and what you learned at Cane Rosso and the whole story of what you got going on here. So we'll be right back. This episode brought to you by MarginEdge. Never deal with a paperwork nightmare again. All right, we're back. And before we dive into you two crossing paths, I wanted to give Megan the mic one more time to kind of, you mentioned that you worked at the Kimpton Group, and
Yes.
we can't just skip over that. An
Right.
incredible group of people to be working with. What were some of the big lessons there?
I got to partake in an opening. So they opened the Hotel Palomar here in Dallas in 2006, and I got to be part of that opening team. And I had previously worked at a hotel with Hotel Zaza. I was the GM at Dragonfly, which was the restaurant there.
Yeah.
But I was there for about a year, a little over a year. So it was a really small hotel group. And then Kimpton recruited me from Hotel Zaza, and I got to be part of that opening team, and I learned so much from opening perspective. I learned what a punch list was.
What is a punch list?
Life. In an opening, it's life.
Yeah.
And it's assignment to everybody. It's the way to track things from construction to, do we have a first aid kit? Do we have wet floor signs? Do we have register tape? Do we have, all of those things? So it's life.
Where do you go to find a punch list? I mean, is there like a template out there, or is it something that you
I'm
create
sure there's
on your
some
own?
online now, but I've morphed our punch list from
Your experiences?
Yeah, over time, right? But a punch list is key. I've had friends open restaurants that say, hey, can you send me a punch list? Because they know I've opened so many, that I've got it now down to a science of like, this is who has what, and this is where things go.
I think that's a key lesson in itself is if you're interested in opening a restaurant, it's one thing to work in restaurants. It's another thing to open a restaurant. It's an entirely different set of skill sets altogether. So go to work for a restaurant group that has aspirations to open a bunch of restaurants and explain to them that that's what you want to learn how to do. You know, maybe even become a specialist, but definitely get those openings under your belt. Get paid to make mistakes.
You learn so much in openings, from finances to punch lists to things about people. With Kimpton, I got to travel to a couple cities and do a few other openings with them after we did that one. But, in the opening here in Dallas, I learned about punch lists, and then I learned about the groundwork of culture, getting that laid down really quickly. I'd never really worked anywhere that culture was such a thing, and the word culture was really kind of just being thrown around in 2006. Kimpton, they lived it, they breathed it, they exuded it.
What does that look like?
The COO, Nikki Leandakis at the time, who I thoroughly respect over and over again, she'd been with Kimpton for 20 something years and kind of built it from the ground up. And so when she would come and talk, you could just feel like, I'm so happy to be part of this group. I'm going to learn so much from these people. And they just made it sure that we were all connected.
Paint that picture.
What do you need?
Paint that. Clearly, they were doing it right.
Yeah,
and you identify that they did culture right. But what does right look like? Get specific. Paint that picture of how they built that culture and what it looks like when done right.
We just lived it every day. It didn't feel like a checklist. It didn't feel like the punch list. It's just, that's how we interacted with each other. Were we respectful? Kimpton lived by, I don't know if they still do, by the Escoffier quote of, look at me, smile at me, talk to me, thank me. That was what we talked about every day. That a smile can fix almost anything, right? So that's just how we acted with each other. It's how we interacted. And that's what we did with our guests as well. So if you're doing it with your associates and your guests, it's just kind of all encompassing.
So what type of things that they do to make sure that it was being lived every day? Did they echo these things? Did they write it? Like, did they make you do like refresh training? Like, how were they making sure it was being lived every day?
We all got together a lot. Obviously, we had the conference calls and things like that. But they did one thing that I found. They actually did two things I thought were very valuable. They did a mentorship program. So as a GM, you got grouped with another member of the food and beverage division of Kimpton, and they were your mentor for a year. And they were out of different markets, so we got on the phone. Obviously, it's expensive to fly and meet up every month. Yeah. But we got on the phone every month, and they talked you through, like, hey, where are you at? What do you need help with? Are you understanding flow through? Are you, my mentor was a guy named Frank Kowecki.
I was just going to ask you. Yeah,
best name ever. Yeah. He was so awesome to me. Nice. And I learned, financials. That was my hang up at the time, right? I really didn't understand financials.
Which part hung you up?
Their way of doing financials.
Okay.
Everybody does it differently.
Yeah.
And they focused on other things like flow through. I'd never worked anywhere that had a bonus program like that I was, responsible for people underneath me, that I wanted to make sure that they got their bonus, not because something I failed to teach them, right? That I had participated in making sure that they earned their bonus, and for myself as well, let's be honest, right? So I mentored with him for a year, and then they did this thing where they put the chef and the GM together for 6 months, and we basically spoke to a psychiatrist over the phone together.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because I always say, like, I want my dream job to be, I might go back to school to become a psychologist, but do like partnership, like a marriage with like partners in the restaurant industry.
It was like marriage counseling. I'm not kidding.
I would love that.
Yeah, and we learned so much about each other. He's still a friend of mine to this day. He owns his own restaurant here in Dallas.
Nice.
Tom Fleming. I love the man.
And I feel like I know the name.
He's been around for a long time. We learned a lot about each other and how to work together, and how to work together as a team, and how to work together as, smart business partners.
So what does that look like, working together as a team? What skills?
Communication, constant communication, so that we're both on the same page. There's no mom against dad, or there's no, we do it this way when Megan's here. If Megan's not here, we do it this way because Tom's here.
Is there a framework? Is there a framework that you apply to this communication, or is it just the idea of open communication?
We just always made time.
Gotcha.
One day a week is where we sat down, and no interruptions. At the time it was flip phones. We didn't have to worry about cell phones, right? I think I got my BlackBerry in like 2008. So it was, but we made time, right? We sat down and we made time. We brought the team in too. So sous chefs, AGMs, bar managers. We brought everybody in too.
So was Kimpton the last group you worked with before coming on with?
Yeah, I left. I left Kimpton and went to a small restaurant, and then Jay recruited me out of there because he knew I had experience, and we knew a lot of mutual people. And he brought me on, and he flat out told me, I can't pay you what you're worth. I'm just trying to get started, but my vision is to grow this from more than one location, and I think you're the right person to do it, but I'm going to be straight up, I cannot pay you what I know you're getting paid right now.
So what was it about what he was feeding you as far as the vision that made you bite?
At first, I'm going to be frank and honest. At first, I was like, I'm just going to take it because this guy I'm working for right now is not, I shouldn't have taken that last job.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah. So I'm going to take this one. I'm hoping it's going to lead somewhere. Yeah, this is my exit strategy. It's going to work for me. I'm going to make it work for me. And I knew Jay didn't have any restaurant experience, so I was like, okay, I can guide this guy.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't have restaurant experience. He's flat out honest. He doesn't. He knows. His big saying all the time was, what gets measured gets managed, because that was what they lived. GE Capitals, where he was, Fortune 500, So knowing that he had that measurability, coming from Kimpton, knowing that they measure as well, right? I was like, okay, I can get along with this guy. We'll be on the same page.
So it's really interesting. So this is about where you two cross paths. And this is where I've been trying to work up to get you guys kind of on the same page, to get your stories overlapped. Clearly Jay was doing something right.
Absolutely.
Because he came with no restaurant experience. He was successful in life, clearly, because this was all was it self-funded? Or maybe there was
friends,
there was
a small group of friends, for the first location.
They scaled to like 9 locations, 7 locations, or something along the line.
It would have got up to 9, then he's closed a couple since, but he got up to 9.
So, to be a part of a team from the ground level, to scale it to 9 locations, that's the first time either of you have done anything like that, correct?
Correct.
To this point. So, reflecting back at that experience, what were the key lessons you learned to set you up for success for your own thing?
God, I learned so much in the 7 years. What to do, what not to do.
Let's start with the biggest failures. Maybe one of you start and brainstorm while the other one's going on with the biggest failures you made in that period, this from 2011 to 2018, that 7-year period.
I think in the growth of not putting our foot down when the growth was happening too fast, when it wasn't smart to grow out of market, out of Dallas, as fast as we did. I wish I would have been more steadfast in saying, like, hey, I think we're putting the cart before the horse kind of thing, right?
Yep.
We don't have the team there to make it successful. That I think I should have been more steadfast and maybe explain myself a little bit better instead of, he always called Dino and I the IT department. You have to beg your way to maybe when you're like, my computer's not working, So I probably should have explained myself a little bit better and maybe presented a more thorough plan as to why I didn't think we should have grown as fast.
Get specific. Well, how long did it take you to start expanding? What year? Like, where was that period?
Cane Rosso White Rock opened in 2013, right?
Yes.
So it was almost 2 years before the second location.
Okay.
He did diners, drive-ins, and dives in December of 2011. And one half of the Deep Ellum location that he's at now. And then he expanded. He doubled the space in Deep Ellum.
Okay.
In 2012. So it was kind of another location.
Yeah.
I added 70-something seats.
Yeah.
And then Cane Rosso White Rock opened in 2013. And then it just progressively went.
So was the White Rock location the issue, or is it thereafter?
No, we're talking about Houston, Austin.
Okay.
So we did 2 locations in Houston and 1 in Austin in 9 months.
Wow.
While we just opened 1 in Dallas.
So if you could go back and do it differently, what would you have liked to have seen?
Done 1 in Houston, 1 in Austin, more spread out instead of doing 2 in Houston and 1 in Austin.
Okay.
So we did Houston, Austin, Houston.
So why?
And I had a child at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that. While we were talking about this, Dino, what was going through your mind?
Was a really stressful moment for us.
Yeah.
Was you imagine have a 2-week-old baby in a car driving down to Houston, beating traffic. One time we got a terrible storm coming up. I thought I wasn't going to make it. It was pretty bad.
Oh man.
Yeah, I forgot about that rainstorm. Ugh.
Yeah, it was ugly. So totally believe that was one of our less successful moment because we were not prepared.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that you weren't planning on sticking around. You were just here to help him open and get him going. But
that was the first visit. When I came back, the plan was to stick around.
You met Megan and you said, "I'm going to stick around."
Well, we grow at the point that we became a family and a company. We really believed it. But I have to say, one of the things that at the first Cane Rosso in 2011, it wasn't the last Cane Rosso they opened, 7 years later. The company had changed.
Okay.
I think it had changed the initial concept, the ideology, the idea what they want to be. Cane Rosso today, it's not the Cane Rosso that was back then.
Yeah, it's not what we left.
We were an authentic Neapolitan pizzeria. You're a guy from Naples. Now you find on the menu queso. You find, what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just different. It's not what it was. So
I don't want to tear apart Cane Rosso.
No.
That's
So
not my hope. Yeah, but
it's different.
Yeah, that's not my intention. But I guess what I'm saying is, what were the things that you saw happen there that you want to make? What are you going to do differently this time around? I guess.
I think that's what I was going to. I think at some point the communication was lost.
Yep.
Between the owner and us.
Oh.
It wasn't coming from us. I hadn't changed it. You know what I mean? So the communication lost. I think I will never lose that, and I will never lose my soul. Why I started this company too, because I want to be. We didn't serve a pepperoni at the first Cane Rosso because at Neapolitan don't have a pepperoni, right?
Yeah.
So we had the ideology, right? But now we sell pepperoni after years. Why? Because people, that's what they want. Going back to original talk when you say people now think more about grow the company and less to be in. What makes money to it? People come here as today. One guy was very interesting, which is now he's one of our best customers. He says, I want a chicken parm. He comes here the first week. So
I would never dream of saying that to an Italian man.
Oh, they do it all the time.
You have
they
no
do it all the
idea
time.
often because they are used to have it no matter what. The idea is different with the real Italian restaurant, what we're trying to offer. So he comes, say, why don't you make, right? And the server didn't know how to tell me. The guy wants chicken parm. So I came to talk to him. I said, listen, last time The guy asked me chicken parm. I quit my job. That's not what I wanted. He said, well, why? He said, he said, when I go to an Italian restaurant, he said, I get a chicken parm. I said, so you can get it anywhere else. Why do you want it here too?
Yeah.
That's the idea. We try to do something a little bit different, something that you might get in Naples. You get scarpariello. You get something, everyone could put the things that people want. But then, then you are not really open a restaurant that you want.
Yes.
You open a restaurant that people want. I know that might be easier, but might be even more difficult because they have no reason to really come to you if they could just go across the street. I mean, there's another Italian restaurant block down. There's another Italian restaurant 2 blocks.
Cane Rosso is 0.3 of a mile away from us, right? So, but yeah, now this guy comes in here 3 times a week, if not 4.
I don't know if I'm completely picking up. So you're saying that did you make the chicken parm or did you?
I did not.
You did not. Okay, that's
you got
what
bolognese, right?
So
Yeah.
So I stick to what I wanted to do.
So you're saying true to your
explain
values.
Correct.
Yeah.
I explained to him why we were not doing it. Kind of give him an idea of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So he actually get it. He got a history, like we talked about earlier. He got a history. We kind of educated him, explaining.
Yeah.
And he came back the weekend later
Nice.
by all his family. I mean, he spent $500 that night.
He didn't ask for chicken parm again, did he?
No, he didn't.
Good.
But he was a great guy. No, it was. That's what I say. I think, if you just want to open a restaurant to make money, like we said, you don't really need a restaurant. Find a different way to make money. Open a fast food.
Yeah.
Put a franchisee. I mean, you do, especially if you are not really a cook. But I think for a person that starts washing dishes when he's a little, becomes to a sous chef and then a chef and then an executive chef and works really hard for 30 years in a restaurant. I think everyone that spends so much time in a restaurant, her biggest dream is to have their own restaurant, right? And obviously, they have their own idea. They want to make people the food that they love, which they have their own.
They're sharing
history.
their passion. That's what it's all about.
You got your history. You say, hey, look at this. Look at this tomato. Why do I think it's good? Try. Why do I think it's good? Try it. You tell me why. Taste it. You know what I mean? Use an American tomato. Why use an Italian tomato? Taste it. You taste the Italian San Marzano. At the best San Marzano. They can tell me whatever they want. They pick from a tree of a Japanese roses, those tomatoes. The San Marzano are the best. You can taste the acidity.
Yeah.
You taste the real tomato. I don't like sweet tomato. If I get a pizza as a sweet sauce, it's not for me. I have to have the acidity of tomato.
Okay.
So that's why I like it. I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you. Try it, please.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people, we're going back to the education. Again, Neapolitan pizza, if you explain it, present it, and then you taste it, you get punched by those strong flavors.
I'm going to get punched by those strong flavors before I leave, that's for sure.
You can't tell me that it's not good.
Yeah.
You can tell me you still prefer the crispy side, the one that you lift the slices and stand up, but you cannot tell me it doesn't have
I'm
any
picking
flavor.
up what you're putting down.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I say, if you are somebody that really loves the job, we invested a lot in this restaurant as a time, money too, a passion, right? We kind of put in a different other business, but we don't know where else to do it.
Yeah.
Because that's where we like it. That's you grow up to it. That's how you see yourself. It makes you really happy when people walk out and really enjoy it. I mean, we had a couple the other night that came. Said, we drove here from Frisco.
Okay.
He said, Frisco is 45 minutes north. Said, because we read about it, we were in Naples 3 months ago. And, we were missing it. And tonight we got the same experience.
That's awesome.
But those things make you happy because that's what was our goal.
That's the purpose, yeah.
Give this couple the experience that they wanted.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you, come here, you get the best stuffed crust, pepperoni. You're not going to get that. But you come here, you feel at home.
I feel you, man.
If you've been in Italy,
I totally get it. I get it.
If you didn't, you just got shipped to Naples for cheaper.
Yeah. I love it. So we got to start talking about you guys making the decision to break away to do your own thing. You spent a year before opening, right?
Took a year and a half, yes.
Yeah, so what was your vision? Take us there and take us through the challenges of making this happen.
We, first, like everybody say, you got to have the dream on paper. You got to show. You need the money, right? So I called a few friends. And it was interesting because one of my friends that is actually partnering with us, it's the guy that built the Miami. His name is Stefano Ferrara. I think those are the best pizza
The guy who bought your ovens.
He built our pizza oven.
They're beautiful custom pizza.
He's a very famous Neapolitan pizza oven builder.
It's gorgeous. I'll be sure to.
Awesome.
We have video now. I'll be sure to get some capture.
It's
that
great.
oven.
So I was talking to him on the phone because he knew it. He built all the ovens at Cane Rosso because I designed all of it. Beside the first one, I designed it, talked with him, the colors, choose the tires, the model, the sides. I designed this one too. So when the story with Cane Rosso ended, I was talking on the phone with him and said, hey, I'm not with them anymore. He was the guy that told me, because I was a little bit shocked. 8 years now, I have to figure out what I really want to do. He said, well, now we can finally do the pizzeria restaurant that we want to do for a long time.
So you and him. Okay. Yeah. So he's your partner in
He's partner
here. Okay.
He's partner in this place. I said, yeah, there might be time. He said, you always want to do it. You're always too busy. We can do it. Now we can finally do it.
What changed? What happened that make you to finally be able to do it?
I said, now I have the time.
Yeah. Now I'm free.
I can do it. I can dedicate. Because, I really, it's not a joke for anyone that wants to start this adventure. Count year and a half, maybe 2, before you even step in a place. From the moment you start researching the location that you like, get the money together, get your plan, start the construction, finish construction, start the train. It's going to be a year and a half, almost 2.
Yeah. So when did he approach you and say, now's the time?
Year and a half ago.
Year and a half ago?
Over the phone.
Yeah. And prior to this point, were the two of you talking about?
Oh, every day. We visit him, we talk. We meet in Vegas every year. We meet him when we go in Naples because we meet at the Pizza Expo. We do the show together. Stanley brings us having.
So you guys,
pizza for people.
You two have been married since 2015, correct?
Right.
So 5 years. So I'm assuming that this was probably a discussion even before your marriage.
Yeah, this was an end game at some point, right? We just didn't know when it was going to happen.
Yeah, you guys are probably talking about being business partners before you were being life partners, right?
Of course. No, but it's scary to open a restaurant, right? Especially in today's market. So obviously, leaving Cane Rosso propelled us to be like, just rip the Band-Aid off and let's do it, right? We know what we're doing. We've done this a million times over. Let's just do it.
Okay. So what was your plan? Like, what was your vision? Like, what take us through that process.
We wanted to stay true. So we got with a branding agency essentially and said, help us brand this, right? Because I know the importance of branding. Like even going back to Kimpton, make sure that your font type is the same throughout. Little things like that just translates all the way through, right? So we wanted someone to brand, help us come up with a logo. What's going to translate. They helped us name the restaurant.
I think it's, sorry, keep going.
No,
I cut you short.
fine. No, they helped us name the restaurant because Dino wanted it to be like his love letter to Naples, so a brand that we could stay true to where we weren't serving chicken parm just because someone asked for it, things like that, right? So we dove in and said, let's do it.
I think it's really important to go through these motions early on before you open, because once you get open, the bandwidth goes away. Yeah. To really like to mesh these things out, to find your identity, right? So to get that clarity on day one or before day one, to know what you're it's kind of like building the frame of your home before you get in it, right? Like you can't build it from the inside out, you want to work from the, I don't know if I should probably thought of that analogy a little bit more, but
I know where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So one of the things that you did right is you nailed down that brand, who you were, your essence, well before getting started. What else did you guys do right?
We searched for location.
Yep. We took our time on that.
Why is it so important to take your time on a location?
It's really, you got to feel it. Location, it's 50% of the success.
Beautiful location, by the way.
Thank you.
I love it.
It's an old building. It felt like Naples as far as like it's got history behind it instead of, some random suburban strip mall, which nothing wrong with that either. But we thought for our first location, it kind of had to feel like what we were trying to get across.
Yeah. So I just looked down. Is it a hard stop at 4:00?
We can go like 4:15.
No,
4:50. Okay. I just want to make sure because I want to make sure you guys knew we have 10 minutes left and but still we only have 25 minutes left. So what are the things that in the past, we'll say 2 years now from when you broke out and you said we're going to do this, you committed, you had your partner, to where you are now have been the biggest challenges, maybe the biggest failures, if you could do a redo, or the things that you did the best that you want to share, that you want to pass along to my listeners? Does anything come to mind when I say that?
I would say then for anyone who wants to try, if you think, for instance, that you need $200,000 for your dream, raise $400.
Yeah, double it.
Yeah, double it.
Yeah.
Double what you think you need.
Also, make sure you know what you want to do. You got to have your idea.
Yeah.
You have to know what you want to do. Then you could go. Because if you go to a branding agent, I don't know, I want to open a restaurant, I'm not sure what I want to do. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You have to tell them exactly what you want. What's your vision? And they're going to make happen. And then you can see it. You can choose. You take from what they give it to you and choose where you want to go. But you have to know where you want to go. It's not going to be easy. Money seems like never enough.
You have to have that vision. You have
Yep.
to be
You have
dead
to.
certain on where
You
you're
have to be
going.
set on it. Yep.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're going to waver back and forth, and
Yeah.
then you're never really going to be set.
You need to be definitive.
Everything you learned, then you think you're going to use it, you're not going to make a mistake, it's not going to be enough. You're still going to make a mistake.
So,
Yep.
For instance, we knew it. It wasn't totally our fault, but we knew it. We wanted the sign up before we even started construction. We wanted the sign, and we worked towards that. We got the sign 3 months after we opened.
We started on, that's one of the first things we started on my punch list, signage, because we knew it's
Branding.
important, right?
You're
Brand,
paying-
brand. Get
you're-
people
you're-
curious.
You're paying rent. You might as well put the sign up.
And the way things fell in the historic district and the historic building, 3 months after we opened, we got our sign. Yeah.
Well, what would have happened if you put that at the end of your list? You would
Yeah, we would have still have no sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So make sure there's more, like, start processes sooner than you think
Yep.
is what I'm getting from
Always.
you. And then double whatever you think it's going to take.
Yep.
Make it. Did you guys make that mistake, or did you go into this
No,
knowing
we
that-
knew
Okay.
from
knew.
other locations.
Financial wise, we
Yeah.
knew it. We were
There's things behind walls when
Yeah.
they start doing
Yeah.
construction. Like, oh, we didn't know that was
Yeah.
there. You know,
And
they're building a house.
I love these conversations because I say, opening a restaurant in 2020 or 2019
Yeah.
is not the same as opening a restaurant in 2018.
No.
A lot has changed in the past 8 years. What's unique about the industry today? Some of the unique challenges of opening a restaurant today versus maybe 20 years ago when you were doing it for somebody else. Or
Staffing.
10 years ago.
Staffing.
Yeah.
It's impossible because it's an employer's market or employees market. They can go anywhere, and there's so many restaurants always opening, and it's the next, I'm going to go the next best thing, the next flashy thing that's going to be packed for a while, and people are overpaying for a lot of positions just to get people in the building. So it's hard. Staffing is a constant juggle. It took us a while. Now we kind of have a really good core staff. We figured out what our staffing levels are. That's another thing. Always overstaff in the beginning because things are going to change.
People aren't
without
gonna
a
make the
moment's
cut,
notice.
you
Yeah.
know?
And
And
they're
that-
not going to make the cut. They're not going to hang. It's going to be
Yeah.
too stressful.
Maybe
or
like 2/3 of your entire team. Like, you're going to lose
Yeah.
a third of your people,
if not more.
Yeah, exactly. So did you overhire?
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to overhire to a certain degree. I always felt like we were a step behind. But, now we've got that staff and
Yeah.
we've figured it out. But, yeah, we overhired a little bit.
Yeah. What else did you do in the early days before opening that you think set you up for success?
I think just planning and, making sure that we had everything that we needed, our punch list.
Yeah.
Knowing we had business cards before before construction even started.
Do you? I'm just gonna throw this out there. Do you have your punch list still? Do you have like a digital copy of it?
Yeah.
Do you? Are you willing to share that? I'm curious. I mean, if you're willing,
Yeah, of course,
I will make sure we can
I'll
share
email
that.
it to you.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you. I was kind of worried to even ask.
No.
but that'd be incredible.
No, it was shared with me, and I've shared it with so many other
Nice.
people,
Thank
other
you.
friends and
yeah,
stuff.
I'd love to get that. So one other thing I'm really curious about is your partner. Say his name for me one more time. I read it someplace. but-
Stefano Ferrara.
Stefano. I'm like the worst. My name should be like revoked. What was it about him that made him a good partner?
That's another important question.
Yeah.
I was about to say, choose your partners very, very well.
Yep.
So why him? What was going on there?
Well, I had 5-6 people, and you have to choose the people that, first of all, understand you do it because you love what you're doing. Second, know you very well. They trust you. And third, it's not people that are going to make your life worse as a nightmare. If it's the guy that say, yeah, I'm going to give you $100,000, but I want to make sure I get 5% return every year, that's not your partner. That is not good for you. You're gonna hang yourself in a bathroom before that.
So who are you looking for? If you're not looking for the person that's just after the money, who are you looking for?
You're looking for a person that believes in you.
Yeah, someone that has your
knows
back.
you.
Why?
Because he might lose his money.
Yeah.
He might never gets back.
Yeah.
So do you. We
It's a
put our
risk.
savings too.
Yeah, and I
You
think you're dropping some really great advice right now, because I think when we're passionate and we have our vision and we will do anything to open our restaurant, and somebody comes at us with a blank check, how much do you need?
Yep.
And when you want it, it's so tempting to just say,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But but once they give you that money, you're on the hook.
Yeah.
They I mean, unless you have a tight partnership agreement, they own you. You know? So that's another thing. What's your partnership agreement look like? How did you work that out? Anything we should know on that front?
Well, obviously it's everything legal on paper.
Yeah.
Everything clear.
Yeah.
You know, he gets a financial report every day.
Yeah.
Right. So a person that you have to be open with them.
So is he just a strictly financial investor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he builds the ovens.
He builds the.
So I'm sure you got a good deal.
No, yeah,
We
he
paid,
had a great job.
You got to pay
It's
for
a
the
beautiful
materials.
oven,
Yeah, no, it's beautiful in the design. It just, you know, he knows how many hours I put in a restaurant for my history. He knows I'm here every day. You know, we talk weekly. I send reports daily. You know, now if this restaurant won't make him the return he wants it, but he knows we tried everything as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As people won't care about that. He knows.
Yeah.
And we, as a sign, you know, I tell people too, you gotta show them that you believe it. And the way we did, say, listen, I'm gonna put the same amount of money you do it. So if you lose, I lose. I got no interest.
Skin in the game.
You know,
Yep.
what I mean? You have to. Nobody's gonna just give you money for your name. You know, if you are not a big name chef, and even so, they can lose it. You know, it's a risk investment.
Yeah.
So you gotta know exactly who is the people that gives you money. I mean, you're taking people money. It's not a joke.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I have for some reason I grew up with this really sense of responsibility. I don't sleep at night. If I owe somebody money, it's my nightmare. I gotta make work. He needs a guy his money back. I don't know why. I'm from Naples, but I grew up with a big sense of responsibility.
I love this. So, reflecting back over the past year or 6 months since you've been open, what has been your biggest challenge?
This building, it's been really good to us, but the historical area has been the biggest challenge. Just imagine there wasn't nothing here before, never been anything, right? So this area downtown is rechanging. It's growing, it's cleaning, to make people understand that we were here. You know, if you see the setup too, it hasn't been that easy. You know, people walk in and they didn't really know. You got to come up the stairs, and then they love the place. We didn't have a sign for the first 3-4 months, so people had no idea where was it. You know, the name, the logo was really challenging.
Just the hoops that you had to jump through to stay within the historical. There's a word for it. I can't think of it right now. The district rules or whatever.
Yeah.
What else? What came to your mind when I asked that question, Megan?
For challenges with.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the historical stuff is kind of like out of your control.
It's out of our control.
Yeah, you just got to play nice.
I mean, I fall back on staffing again. I really do. And then, you know, I've been in Dallas for 20 years in the restaurant business. I have never cared about the convention calendar. Let's be honest.
The convention calendar?
Yeah, it's never affected me. But in downtown Dallas, you live and breathe by the convention calendar. Yeah. So I've learned a different way of networking and a different group of people to network with to ensure that we have things going on when there's conventions in town, right? Because people that live locally in Dallas don't come down during the week. It's the weekend thing.
Yeah, I got
so
you.
You've got to, you know, hit the hotels and the conventions. So it was a learning lesson for me.
And I need to point something out just to kind of put a little extra emphasis on this fact that staffing is such an issue right now. You've been in Dallas for how many years?
20
years. And what I would recommend for somebody is to go be a part of a community before opening your own place, because that network of the people that have worked for you in the past, they're going to be the people you reach out to be your baseline.
I mean, Dino's entire kitchen staff has worked for him before.
Yeah, and even with 20 years of experience within this city, you're still challenged. Like you're the picture perfect example of somebody who shouldn't have any issues, which just gives like a real testament to like how bad it is out there. Right?
Well, all the people I started with 20 years ago have gotten out of the business. Good for them.
You're the only crazy one.
Yeah,
right?
I'm the crazy one over here.
Yeah. So what did you do to incentivize people to come and work with you?
We try to make their schedules as flexible as they need them to be. You know, that's the key. That's what they want. Is they're in it. Is essentially the career waiter doesn't exist anymore. You know, I worked at a place in Dallas back in the day called the Green Room, and to get a job there as a server, someone literally had to die.
Wow.
You know, like it was such a coveted job to have because they made good money and it was a great schedule.
Sense of pride.
And then now that doesn't exist anymore, you know, because it's such a revolving door of people. So you just have to make their schedules as flexible as possible, and then give them the tools that they need to do their job.
Yeah.
You know, where we've all worked at those places where, you know, the manager's like, I'm not giving you any more spoons because I'm trying to make my bonus, and if I order more silverware, I'm not going to make bonus.
So,
you know?
so give them the tools to do their job. Give me
Yep.
some examples of the tools you need to give them aside from spoons.
Not just spoons. You know, the continuing education, making sure that they're constantly learning.
What things are you giving your staff to make sure they're learning?
You know, wine knowledge. We bring in our purveyors to taste wine with them. I did a little wine class with them 2 Fridays ago. You know, Dino talks to them about food. They taste our food constantly.
So continued education.
Yeah.
What else do you do to empower? What other tools do you give them?
And then they're all empowered to make things right. So if a guest says they don't like something, okay, what can I get for you? You know, oh, you didn't like that? Let me buy you something else. Let me get you a glass of wine next time if you didn't like that bottle of wine you had. You know, so they're all empowered to do that. So they feel like they have, I guess, some ownership in the space. You know, and then these guys are our family. You know, we had a great holiday party in January with them, you know, to thank them. We try to recognize them as often as possible and communicate.
What does that look like? What does recognition look like?
You know, shout outs and lineup and things, you know, like you got 3 great back-to-back reviews from our Resi guests, you know, here's a gift card or here's a t-shirt, you know, like pat on the back or just even just a general.
We need to be seen.
Yeah.
We need that. We need to be recognized. It's one of those human needs.
We can't have Partenope if we didn't have our staff.
What'd you say earlier? Seen, smile.
Look at me, smile at me, thank me, talk to me.
All that stuff. I mean, feeds our soul. We need it to be happy as humans, and that's free. It is a free thing that you can do to acknowledge your people, and it pays off in spades. It's so valuable. Anything we have not discussed up to this point, anything that you were hoping would come to the conversation that we didn't get around to, now's the time to get it out.
No, I just tell them, like we talk about, choose your partner, choose your employees well too. You know, when you make the decision, you got to be like RGM worked with us before, the general manager here that you met, Early Kit. Yeah. He's a great guy. We like him. You got to trust the people that work with. Aurelio, our kitchen manager, worked with me before. Really trust him. All his family works here. And, you know, one thing he told me, he came to us, you know, when he knew we were open. He said, I really want to come work with you. Because he said, I know how hard you guys work. Yep. He said, that's why I want to work with you.
I love it.
And, you know, there's nothing better than tell him thank you at the end of the week. It's a good thank you. We can never done it without him.
I agree.
We don't ask these guys to do anything that we wouldn't do.
If you think about it, the hardest position to fill up in the kitchen is the dishwasher. Nobody wants to wash dishes.
I love washing dishes. I'm a freak.
I enjoyed it slightly, but I'd
So
rather wash
relaxing
dishes
for
than
me.
hostess.
Sometimes. But every night, it's the hardest place.
No, it can be tough. It can be real tough.
And how much can you really pay? How much you can really make? Let's see the highest paid dishwasher in a country. $20 an hour?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
New York City,
In
LA,
in
Maybe
the United
Seattle.
States, okay? Why should he do that if he can make a 22, 23 being a Uber?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes very
Uber's
difficult.
pretty cush. I'm not gonna. I've done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to Uber when I was editing this podcast.
Yeah.
So that's a really tough position to fill it up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
for sure. I feel you guys.
And we have the same dishwasher since we opened.
That's a testament right there.
Yeah.
So they just like it being here.
I love it. One last question before we go to the speed round is something I ask all my guests. The mission statement is to inspire, empower, and transform the industry. How have the two of you transformed in your time in this industry? Who are you today versus the people you were getting started?
I believe that today we don't compromise. We show people where we really want to do it, and we know
No chicken parm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's Mr. No Chicken Parm. Yeah.
And we know that it could be successful. So don't just give up because you think, oh, I need to make money.
Fight for your vision.
Yep.
And you got to make money.
I love it.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
By persistence.
Nothing in life worth doing is easy, in my opinion.
Really.
And I think we are so adverse to like hard work because we're told that if you're working hard, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
It's not true.
You
just gotta embrace it.
Yeah.
Do you know my first menu I did in 04 in Seattle was in Italian. Not because I want to be the cool guy, because I speak no English. I didn't know what to do.
People going there is like, wow, this is fancy.
And
you know, it is, but it tastes so good.
And the story that I tell all the time, this guy came in a few days. We had a line outside the door when we opened the restaurant. This guy comes, sits at the bar, and looks at the menu. He stares the menu for 15 minutes. Obviously, he didn't understand anything. It was in Italian. He puts the menu down, and he orders a hamburger and French fries to the bartender. The bartender said, "We don't have it." The guy said, "What?" And then we explained him what we have. We made him try. He got a pizza. He loved it.
Yeah.
This was, you gotta believe it. I had no other way to make a menu.
I feel you. Megan, did you want to add anything to that?
I just think come a long way in the way that we deal with our staff. I worked for a chef that kept frozen limes on the line, and when we made a mistake, he threw them at us.
Oh.
You can't do that anymore, right? Just like Dino can't get locked in the basement anymore,
exactly.
right? And you learn to appreciate your staff and their family to a certain degree, right?
Yeah.
It's just different interaction with your staff. I think I act differently with staff now than I did back then, in a great way, in a way that benefits them and us.
Okay, I love it. One more quick break to thank our sponsors, and we're going to bust out a really fast speed round.
Okay.
We'll be right back. This episode brought to you by MarginEdge. Never deal with a paperwork nightmare again. We're back, and the first question I have for you is, what is your it factor, a habit, a trait, a characteristic you believe most contributes to your success? I think I already know the answer.
Go, Dan.
Persist.
I knew it. Yes. What is your biggest weakness?
One word or short? I'll answer this for both of us. Control freak.
Control freak. How are you overcoming that quickly?
Education.
Yep.
What is one question you ask or thing you look for when you're growing your team?
Is this really what you want to do?
And what are you looking for?
Persist.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. What is your biggest challenge today? How are you overcoming it? I think I know the answer to that one too.
Staffing. I keep going back to
Yeah.
it. Yeah. It's just trying to stay engaged and, make yourself available for them.
Share one code of conduct or behavior you teach your team. This is a core value, a way to be, a way to act.
I always tell them, we have our tone, passionate, intentional, welcoming, relaxed. But I always try to, you need to come to work every day intentional. You're intent on great service. You're intent on delivering an excellent product. You're intent on being welcoming to our guests.
What is one uncommon standard of service you teach your team? So this is something that's common within the four walls of your restaurant, but are not common throughout the industry.
We really believe in what we do. That's why we don't do the chicken parm.
I love it. Staying true to your mission, your vision.
Your vision.
Yeah. What is one book that will make us a better person or restaurant operator?
Setting the Table by Danny Meyer.
The golden standard.
Yeah, you got to have all your managers read that book. You really do.
And it's on audio too. I don't know if many people know that. So if you don't have enough time to read a book, well, then go listen to it on your driving to work every day. You won't regret it. Head over to audibletrial.com/unstoppable. You use that link. You'll be supporting the show, and thank you in advance. What is one thing you feel restaurateurs don't do well enough or often enough?
Stick to their brands.
I thank their staff.
And thank the staff.
What is one service you've outsourced? So this is a company, a person that you go to handle a piece of your business.
Accounting.
And who is
Tim.
Tim? What's his name? The name
His
of
name's Tim. He's amazing. We love Tim.
And the name of his business? Does he have a business?
Tim
Tim the accountant.
He's our CPA. He's awesome.
Does he have a website or anything like that I can link to in the show notes?
I don't think so.
Maybe I'll put his contact information in the show notes.
Yeah,
okay.
we love Tim. He's the restaurant, centered accountant.
Look out, Tim. Things are going to get busy. Name one technology you've leveraged in your business that's had a huge impact on your bottom line, or communication, or efficiency, or anything like that.
Tabit.
Yeah.
So our POS is a company called Tabit.
Tabit.
Relatively new to the U.S. It's actually Israeli based.
Oh.
But they opened an office here in Dallas, and I cannot say enough about their customer support. Like, opening a restaurant is stressful.
Yeah.
POS, brand new, that you've never used before, is stressful. And they literally lived here. They came to our employee company party for the holidays because they're literally part of our family. They're great. They're amazing.
Some of them are chefs.
First time recommendation on the show, Tabit.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to link to it.
They do online ordering, and it's awesome. Comes straight through. People don't want to talk to me on the phone to order anymore. So right?
I think I'm the only person that likes to call to place orders.
People don't want to anymore.
I don't know what
they don't
it
want to
is.
talk on the phone.
I'm a weirdo.
Our restaurant phone is a cell phone, so they can text if they want. So you don't have to call and make a reservation. Just text us.
That's why we choose a cell phone.
Yeah.
I love it.
Can text.
So this is the last question. It's a doozy, so be ready for it. If you got the news, you'd be leaving this world tomorrow. All the memories of you, your restaurants, and your work would be lost with your departure, with the exception of 3 pieces of wisdom that you could leave behind for the good of humanity and for your legacy. What would those 3 things be? It looks like Megan.
Well, for the good of humanity, everyone
and for your
work.
Legacy.
Everyone should work in the restaurant business for at least 6 months, or hospitality, I should say. Any form of hospitality.
That's one.
Smiling fixes everything, or goes a long way, right?
It does. It's true.
And then there's one word that's synonymous with pizza, and it's a party. So everybody relax and have a good time.
Nice, I love it.
I tell
3
Steph
things.
that all the time.
Were those the 3 for the 2 of you? Okay,
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, I've loved this conversation. I wrap up every chat by calling somebody out. So who's one person the 2 of you respect and admire and believe would be a great guest mentor like you've been for us today? Somebody you would love to hear from on the show.
Rosario, my cousin.
Rosario.
He would be
Procino
great
from
for
Ribalta.
yeah.
Rosario and Pasquale.
I'm happy you said
Oh,
that.
and his chef, those 2 together, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look out, guys. I'm coming after you. I'd love to get you on the show. And how can we connect if we want to come join your team? Maybe you touched our hearts today and we want to come join your team and be a part of what you guys are doing here.
Reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram or even on our website, partenopedallas.com.
Okay.
And yeah, we're always looking for team members.
Yeah, and I'll spell that for you. Partenope is spelled Partenope.
The name of Partenope.
Ope.
Partenope was the original name of Naples.
Oh yeah.
The city.
It's hard to say these words when you're sitting across the table from an Italian, like a legit Italian.
It's a little intimidating,
no matter
right?
how I say it, it's going to come out horrible.
The Texas pronunciation is Partenope.
I love it. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your story, your knowledge, your mentorship. There is no questioning. You are unstoppable. Thank you.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everybody.
My pleasure.